Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Newman City Council regular meeting for July 23rd, 2019. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and remain standing for the invocation? Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A gentleman named Joshua Marine made the following statement for us. Challenges are what makes life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Let's pray. Most gracious Father, we thank you tonight for this opportunity to gather for the business of this community. We thank you tonight for the two officers that will be joining us, and we appreciate their service. Take us now through this meeting in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mary. Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember McDonald?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Candia?
Here.
Councilmember Day?
Here.
Mayor Martina?
Here. Okay. 5, conflict of interest. Anyone tonight?
None.
Okay, there being none, we'll move on to ceremonial matters. And we'll start with A, presentation of donation to Newman Police Department Explorer posed by the Deputy Dennis Wallace, DW61 Foundation.
Good evening, everybody. I'll move this back here. Is that on?
Yeah, you're on.
My name is Dave Wallace. I'm Dennis's brother. Deputy Sheriff Dennis Wallace was my brother, and I want to first introduce these guys. This is my sister Corinne, my wife Kim, our chairman of our board, my mother Nan, and this is Andrea Jones on our board and on our committee. Why we're here. DW61 Foundation is named after my brother, Dennis Wallace. That's his initials and his badge number. Tragically, 2.5 years ago, Dennis was killed in the line of duty out in East County. Off of that, a group of people got together and we decided that that could not be how this is going to end. And a foundation was created, and a golf tournament was also created. And as of 3 years now, in August 19th, in a couple weeks, we will be hosting our 3rd annual Dennis Wallace Memorial Golf Tournament. From that tournament, through our foundation, we've been able to raise enough funds that we have now given away over $55,000 to youth programs in the greater Stanislaus area. Thank you. And what this does is it marries two things that Dennis was very passionate about, and that is golf and youth. He spent many years as a school resource officer, a DARE officer, and things along that line with the Sheriff's Department. And in that theme, we have a $500 donation that we'd like to make to the Newman Police Explorer Post in Dennis's memory, and to help out the youth of this city. So, Chief. You got your 10-minute speech ready? I told you.
You want to go up front, or you guys want to take pictures with?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yep. Wherever you want to go.
It's the way they can see all of it.
Thank you, guys. Welcome, sir.
I got it.
Oh, you're good. You're fine. I'm holding up the wall here.
Mayor, before we move on, if I could just say a few things. I'll try. So, most of you don't know that not only do they go through their own tragedy, but Dave and the rest of that foundation was amazing through our tragedy. Dave retired one day before Corporal Ronil Singh was killed, and after he found out, he immediately swore himself, or had himself sworn back in as a reserve so he could work on and help out with the funeral process for Corporal Ronil Singh. So that's what kind of people that came out tonight. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that this foundation is amazing and they're truly out there for the right reasons. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to item B, badge pinning of police officer Jose Gomez and Kevin Miller.
Evening, Mayor, council members. Finally, some good and positive news coming our way for our department. Tonight, we'll be doing the ceremonial oath of office and badge pinning for 2 new officers. They both already have been on the streets for a couple weeks now, but this is our first chance to get them in front of you and introduce them. So if I could call up Kevin and Jose to come join me up here, I'm going to talk a little bit about them while they're on their way up. Kevin was born and raised in Modesto. He graduated from Enoch's High School in 2009. Is that correct? Jesus. So young. He enlisted in the Marine Corps right out of high school. He did 5 years in infantry. He went to work for Modesto Police Department, and then he eventually went on to work for the United States Penitentiary in Atwater, and that's where we stole him from. Tonight, he is joined. Did your sister make it? Yes. His sister did make it. Casey Vergara, his daughter Haley Miller, his girlfriend Bridget Wilson, and her 2 sons, Tucker and Owen, parents Mark and Christina Miller, grandparents Paul and Gloria Lozano, grandparents Norm and Donna Sturm, okay, godparents Ray Munoz and Natalie Cummins. And then Jose was born and raised in Merced, California. He graduated from Merced High School. He went on to college from there and got bored, is what his term was. So he enlisted in the Marine Corps, where he did 12 years. After that, he went back to school and got his bachelor's degree. He enjoys coaching wrestling, and he's coached wrestling at the high school and junior levels. Prior to us, he worked for the Merced County Sheriff's Department, and that's where he comes from. Tonight, Jose is joined by his wife, Krista Gomes, stepson, Jace Borges, mother, Sandra Lamas, and stepfather, Jaime Lamas, in-laws, Penny and Tim Lockard, and sister, Samantha, and brother-in-law, Alex. So now I need both of you to step forward and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Kevin Miller, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And I will bear true faith and allegiance.
I will bear true faith and allegiance.
To the Constitution of the United States.
To the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And to the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without mental
Reservation. Or purpose of evasion.
Purpose of evasion.
And I will and will faithfully
And I will faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties of which I'm about to do.
So we're going to move up front now for the actual badge pinning.
Congratulations.
Call up whoever's going to actually.
Don't be scared.
Anyway, the council congratulates both officers, but we're going to take a short break right now so everyone can enjoy some fresh refreshments. So the refreshments are in the back, so time out for a little bit. And we're moving on to item 7, which is items from the public, non-agenda items. So anyone like to speak to the council, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, thank you, Mayor and council members, for having me here tonight. I am from the library. My name is Sophia Petrakis, and our address is 1305 Kern Street. So I have a lot to catch up on because I missed you guys last month.
Yeah.
So I have 3 calendars to go over with you. We'll start with June. June, we did our first water party on the 8th, the same day as movie night in the park. And that was a hit. I stopped counting at 75 kids because I could barely count higher than that. I was so tired, and we were drenched because I brought hoses, and Veronica and I were in charge of the hoses to spray the kids, and they had water balloons and squirt guns and all that fun stuff. We had a couple programs that went very well. We made Super Dad cards where we dressed up candy bars as little superheroes and gave them to all the dads and uncles and grandpas. We also did ice pop holders. We got Otter Pops and made a little cozy for the Otter Pops and decorated it. So that's June. July, we had another adult-only program, and we did book folding.
Very nice.
So everyone chose either a heart or a letter, initials, and they worked on that. I did one for my grandparents' 60th wedding anniversary, so I had their initials and a heart and then the date. I did that for decoration, and that was my example for everybody. Turned out really cute. It took a long time to fold all those pages. Okay, we are celebrating the whole month for Shark Week because I didn't know what day it fell on when I was planning. So we did Under the Sea graham crackers for the kids. And today we did shark boxes where we had like a shoe box or another small box, and we decorated it like a little ocean. We had sharks and fish hanging down. A couple of the kids did sharks eating the scuba divers, and I gave them red glitter glue, and they added some of that in there. So some of our kids got very creative. And now for August. So summer reading ends on August 6th. It's a Tuesday. And we are doing the Miwok tribe is coming out to do demonstration of a round dance and a powwow dancing. We're going to make dream catchers after that. And then at 5:30, Traveling Library donated money for books for the Vietnam War, information on the Vietnam War. So we're going to have a separate section just for that, and we're going to do an unveiling at 5:30 on August 6th. So if any of you can make that, it's going to be very nice. We also have our Friends of the Library meeting on August 6th as well. So we just kind of jam-packed everything into that day. We're going to be doing another water party on August 10th, which I believe is also another day for movie night in the park. And for the first week of school, from the 13th through the 17th, we're going to be doing games, board games, puzzles. We have some giant Jenga games and checkers and a few other things from 2 to 4 every day to hopefully give parents and kids some time to de-stress from the chaos that the first week is. On August 20th, we're doing a family story time. It's going to be Toy Story theme. We are going to be doing it bilingually. Veronica is going to be doing Spanish and I'll be doing English. And then on August 27th, we are finally doing our dinosaur fossil hunt. So we have a whole bunch of dinosaur bones, and I'm going to bury them out in the field. Bury them. I'm just going to throw dirt over everything. And then the kids have to go excavate, find the fossil, identify it, and they get a little goodie bag to take everything home in.
That's cool.
Okay, just a little more. I'm sorry it's so long today. Since our summer reading challenge is coming to an end on the 6th, we're going to do all of the drawing for all age groups on Wednesday the 7th. So we're going to draw for the kids, teens, and adults. And I want to do a huge thank you to our friends of the Newman Library for supplying all the prizes, and also a few places in our community that donated to the library. The Grill, Pizza Place, Pizza Plus, JJ's, Unique by Design, and Newman Spa and Nail all gave us gift certificates for adult summer reading. Okay, thank you, and I think that's all I have for this month.
Good job. Thank you.
Again, thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you see the increase during the summer months as far as people attending?
Yes, we are jam-packed every day.
That's great.
I'd say we probably have about double as many people we have during the winter,
Wow, nice.
so it does pick up.
That's good.
Well, thank you. Keep up the good work. And with that, would anyone else like to speak to the council? There being no one, we're going to move on to 8, which is consent calendar. It's a long one. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolution except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the June 11th, 2019 meeting. D, accept corrections to Resolution 2019-25, a resolution declaring intent to levy and collect assessments. E, adopt resolution number 2019, next number, resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman adopting addendum number 1 to the Northwest Newman Master Plan Environmental Impact Report and authorize staff to file a notice of determination. F, approval of home sub-recipient agreement for fiscal year 2019-2020. G, adopt resolution number 2000, next number, a resolution authorizing city manager or his designee to sign and file a financial assistant application for funding with the State Water Resource Control Board for the plan and design of the City of Newman Stormwater and Agricultural Wastewater Treatment Planning Grant.
Move for adoption of the consent calendar.
Second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to 9, public hearing. Adopt resolution number 2019, next number, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman, California, confirming the assessment and ordering the levy for the Lighting and Landscape Maintenance District for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Thank you, Mayor. The item before you is the final step in our lighting and landscape maintenance district assessment process. The assessment pays for maintenance of all of the landscape areas throughout town. There's 15 different zones. We've went through the process of you ordering the engineer's report, and then you've approved that report, ordered a date for the public hearing, which is tonight. And so we'll conduct a public hearing, and then hopefully, I recommend that you, pursuant to the Lighting and Landscape Act of 1972, adopt Resolution 2019 and confirm the assessment of the annual report and levy the assessment for fiscal year 1920. And then NBS will assess all the properties that are listed in the annual report, and then they will file that with the county, which will be paid, and that'll be revenue to support our fiscal year 1920.
Any question? This is a public hearing, so I'm going to open it up to the public for any comments. There being none, I bring it back to the council for direction.
Move for adoption of resolution number 2019 next in number, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman, California, confirming the assessment and ordering the levy of the Lighting and Landscape Maintenance District for the fiscal year 2019-2020.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
Ken.
You're welcome.
Moving on to 10, regular business. Approving the 2019 water rate study and authorizing the city manager to initiate Proposition 218 proceedings for changing water rates.
Evening, Mayor and council members. We have two resolutions before us tonight. We'll attack them one at a time. The first one is just adopting a water rate study that was completed by Hansford Economic Consulting. Catherine Hansford from Hansford Economic Consulting is here tonight to present the report. And then after that, if the report is approved, the next step would be to begin our Prop 218 process, and I'll talk about more of that after Catherine's completed. Catherine?
Good evening, Catherine Hansford from Hansford Economic Consulting. So I was asked to perform this water rate study, reasons being that water rates should be reviewed every 3 to 5 years, and the last rate study was performed in 2012. Over time, costs continually increase. At the city, operating costs have increased 7% on average every year for the last 5 years. And in comparison, the consumer price index has increased by 3% on average every year. And that's very typical. Utilities costs do outstrip consumer price index regularly. In addition, another important piece of this rate study was that the city has applied to the state of California for a loan for the new well project. That is a total cost of $8.6 million. It is the largest capital improvement plan cost for this water fund for the next few years. And the state does require that the city demonstrates the ability to repay that loan. So you can think about this fee setting process as a continual circle. We start with determining how much money needs to be raised through rates. That's called the revenue requirement. Look at the fee structure that you have in place and look at if there's any need to change that. Calculate what the fees should be, implement, and then review. And as I said, that's about every 3 to 5 years. Proposition 218 has certain requirements anytime that you wish to change or impose new fees. But the three really important ones are listed here. First of all, the revenues from the fee shall not exceed the funds required for the service. Second, that the revenues from the fee shall not be used for any other purpose than for that which it was imposed. And third, the amount of the fee imposed shall not exceed the proportional cost of service to the parcel. And so this study demonstrates that the proposed rates meet these requirements. Here's a graph showing what monthly water rates are spent on. And there's no surprises for me here. What I see, personnel at 45%, that's very typical. You do have a low slice of the pie in debt service, which is good. Utilities and fuel, 18%. And so there's nothing unusual, anything popping out here. So it's pretty typical. In terms of your water customers, you are predominantly a single-family community, and so 92% of the services go to single-family and 2% to multifamily. So I said the revenue requirement is the amount that's to be raised through the water rates, and this is the first key step in performing the rate study. Costs include operations costs, things like personnel costs and fuel and electric and equipment, all the things needed to run the system. The debt service, there is currently some debt service on the system that's going to be retired in just a few years. And as I mentioned, there will be new depth for the new well project. In addition to that, the city needs to continually be replacing aging pipes, looking after the system that it already owns. So there's always money involved with that, and that includes soft costs, things like engineering studies that need to be performed. There's also some cost in some years for making sure that the operating reserve stays at a level where you want it to be, so that you're in a good financial shape. And there are some credits that are applied for things like interest income, utility applications, and penalty payments, things like that. So there's a little bit of credit that gets accounted for as well. I get asked this question a lot, so I like to put this slide up. And people ask me, well, what's prudent reserve? How much should we have in the fund? So there's a few key things that the money in the fund is doing when it's sitting there. There are cash flow needs. Some months you might have greater expenditures than others, so you need to make sure you've got reserves on hand for that. There needs to be reserves to pay for emergency or unplanned improvements, pipe bursts, for example, to accumulate for system rehabilitation. So you may have a little bit more in the fund than you think you need right now, but you know, for example, in 3 or 4 years' time, that you need to spend that money on a capital improvement project. And also to provide rate stabilization, so you don't have big shocks from year to year. So 6 months to 1 year of operating expenses is considered a good guideline, and the city's reserve is currently healthy. It's at about 9 months of operating expenses. Here is a graph of the revenue requirements, so how much money needs to be raised. Currently, the city collects about $1.5 million in water rates. In this first fiscal year, in 2020, that needs to go up to almost $2 million. And over the 5-year period, it goes up to almost $3 million. What you see that I think stands out there is the yellow. So the yellow there is the debt service, and that accounts for the new well and having to pay back for the costs of the new well. Here is the projected cash balance. So you can see there a little dip of some capital outlay between 2018 2019. And moving forward, the blue line is the estimated cash balance with the rate increase, and it keeps between a minimum cash balance of 6 months and a target ceiling of 9 months of operating expenses. So the current water rate structure includes a fixed charge each month and then a variable charge. So the fixed charge pays for a lot of the everyday running of the system and that meter replacement cost. Everybody has a meter in the city. The use charges vary based on how much water is recorded through your meter each month. Currently, the industrial customers pay one rate for all of the water they use, and all the other customers pay in 3 different tiers. So I haven't listed the tiers for every customer group, but for example, single family, between 0 and 10 units, it's at a lower cost. Between 10 and 44 units, a higher cost. And then there's a 3rd tier, which is a higher cost. So there are, there's really one major change in this water rate study, and that is for the use charges. So currently, I already mentioned all customers pay, I got a little lost there. So the proposal is that all customers will pay the same for each unit of water used, so that the tiers that are currently in place would go away. The reason for this, there's really 2 main ones. First of all, mandatory water restrictions during the drought and the water conservation education that went along with that proved to be more effective tools to reduce water use during droughts than water pricing did. Second of all, under the proposed rate schedule, the landscape water users, that means those dedicated irrigation-only meters, will pay at a higher rate. And the reason for that is that the cost of service, that is how much it costs for you to provide the water to those customers, is higher than for the other customers. So in the rate study, it shows there's a cost allocation to each customer group. And the cost allocation is based on two factors. One, the total overall amount of water that customer group uses in the year, and second of all, how much it uses on peak days. And because those irrigation customers drive up that cost on peak days, that is why they get a higher use charge. So here is a table showing the proposed water rates. It doesn't have all the meter sizes shown because I couldn't fit them all on the slide. But you can see the current and the proposed rates that would begin in November of 2019. The base charge is by meter size. There is also a water meter replacement fee, and then the use charge per 100 cubic feet or unit of water. And there you can see landscape is at $1.60, whereas all the other meters would be at $1.32 per 100 cubic feet. Looking at what this means to customers, here is a graph showing the bill impact for a single-family home using 11 units of water in the month. 11 units is chosen because that is fairly typical for a single-family home. So currently the bill would be $27.81. Starting this November, that would increase to $35.84. And over the 5-year period, that would increase to $50.59. Here's a comparison with several other regional cities. This is always a snapshot in time type of graph because all of these cities are also going through this 3 to 5 year cycle and maybe changing their rates next year. I don't know the exact dates for all of them, but as of the time of the report was written, this is how Newman compares. So currently Newman has the lowest water rates out of these comparison jurisdictions. And you can see in November that would move to being more toward the middle of this range. We've got Ceres at the very high end of the range. But Newman would be close to Merced and Los Banos with the increase. Also had a look at what the impacts might be to some typical commercial customers, and I chose a low user, a medium water user, and a high water user, and you can see there what the impacts look like. And also did this for 2 of the large water users in the city, one being the school district and the other being Saputo Cheese. So those are the average monthly bill changes. That's based over a whole year of usage, so they'll have some months where it's higher and some months where it's lower than what you see on this graph. I think that's, yeah, so I'm here to answer questions.
Any question? No, so we'll do adopt resolution number 2019, next number, resolution of the City of Council of the City of Newman approving the 2019 water rate. And you're going to take the second one now?
Yeah, I'll take the second one. So
Thank you.
once the first one's approved, then.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay.
So we just need to take a vote on the first resolution to adopt the rate study.
So,
You bring it back to us?
yeah, bring it back to you guys.
I move that we adopt resolution 2019, next number, a resolution of the City Council of Newman approving the 2019 water rate study.
I second that.
Okay, motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Sorry, Lou.
That's all right.
Moving on.
The next resolution, since we've adopted the water rate study, is to get this information out to the public through the Prop 218 process. So we have a notice that's already been set up, ready to go, and if council authorizes the city manager to proceed with the Prop 218 process, we'll go ahead and mail those out. The residents will have 45 days from the time we mail them out to file a protest. The flyer that goes out has the water rates that we're proposing. It also has the method whereby they can protest by sending in a signed sheet stating that they protest and this is their address. And that goes out to all the owners of the properties. And if we receive 50% plus 1, then we cannot proceed with the increase in water rates. If we receive less than that, it's still up to the council to decide to move forward with the water rates, but that gets decided at later meetings. There'll be 2 meetings during which we'll discuss it in order to place the new ordinances on the books. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any question?
So, yeah, so the open meeting that you're going to send the letters out to residents, that gives seniors the opportunity to come in and voice their opinion in reference to the rates themselves.
It gives all residents the opportunity to come in and voice a protest to it. In order for the protest to count, though, it has to be written because we have to have a record of that protest. But we'll provide them an opportunity. They have the 45 days to send them in, or if they wish to do it at the meeting, we'll have a form here that they can fill out real quick to register their protest.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And again, that's all residents, right?
Yes, the notice goes out to all owners, but all residents can come in and complain.
And what about industrial or commercial?
Includes them as well. It's all property
Includes them
owners.
in too.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that, I'll bring it back to the council for direction.
Move that we adopt resolution 2019, next number, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman authorizing the city manager to initiate Proposition 218 proceedings for changing the water rates.
And I'll second that.
Okay, a motion is made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
B, adopt resolution number 2019, next number, approving the fiscal year 2019-2020 Cdbg Sub-Recipient Agreement with Stanislaus County.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll go ahead and take this one.
Okay.
As you know, we've been a part of the Stanislaus County Cdbg, which stands for Community Development Block Grant Consortium, since 2005. Since that time, we've been allocated over $2.8 million. A lot of those projects that you see are in our are in our central residential or historic district. We put in sidewalks, curb gutters, fix water lines, and some of the other things go in there. I think we're also doing Amy Park with that money this time. So what we're asking you to do is just Cdbg, so the Stanislaus County, they get the money, and then we're the sub-recipients of that money. For this coming fiscal year, we are estimated to get just right at $158,000, of which $146,000 will go to programs or projects, and then about $12,000 goes to administration, some of the engineering and paperwork, and some of the other stuff that has to go along with that. Traditionally, we have put this on your consent agenda. We didn't have a public meeting. No one really shows up to those when we host them, so we thought, well, let's do it at a city council meeting. So today it's on your regular business, just in case someone from the community wanted to show up tonight and talk about this item. So we just asked if there's anybody. It didn't have to be a public hearing, so we'll just check and see if anybody wants to comment on it. If not, it'll be our recommendation that you adopt the attached resolution. So with that, I can answer any questions that you have.
Any questions from the council?
Do you have, I know you said Amy Park, is that last year's money or this year's money? Would that be
You
this
know,
money
they're
or this
usually about 2 to 3 years behind, so
Right.
that's probably about 2
Gotcha.
years ago money.
We have any plans for this stuff yet, just how
I'd have to check and look at our list and see what we're doing on it.
projects? Gotcha. Okay,
But I'll bring that back at the next meeting.
that's all I have.
No further questions. I'll bring it back to the council for direction.
I move that we adopt resolution 2019, next number, approving the fiscal year 2019-2020 CDBG sub-recipient agreement with Stanislaus County.
Second. Okay, the motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 11. District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor, Mr. Jim DeMartini. Welcome, Jim. We haven't seen you for a while.
Good evening, Mayor Martina. I did miss your meeting before. I went for the first time on a river cruise to Europe on the Rhine River from Switzerland to Amsterdam. So it was really an interesting thing. So a lot of castles, museums, and cathedrals. So a lot of history in Europe. So anyway, and then you had canceled your meeting the last time. So it's great to be back. So I'm back to work now. It was an 8-day cruise plus the flying time. So anyway, I just wanted to make some comments on what the Healthcare Task Force is doing. As you know, we just had our summit last month. I thought the program and everything was just excellent this year. We had vendors there. We had a great speaker who was the CEO of Emmanuel Hospital. We had the Biggest Loser contest where I think we had 7 teams, which Newman is one of them. So I'm your competitor. I'm on the Patterson team this year. And then we will have our way out in Gustine on August 19th with your city manager. I did leave a flyer for that there. This is what the flyer looks like. So Gustine is putting this on at the Al Gorman Center, and we're going to have information booths, some medical providers, and then that mobile mammogram vehicle is also going to be parked there too. They have a great service, and they're partnering with Golden Valley on that. So it's a service that it's free service for the people who use it. So anyway, we had a great summit. It was the 11th one, and I thought it just went great. And we would like to thank the City of Newman for allowing us to use your West Side Theater. It was just a perfect venue, and it was just really a nice event. So anyway, our art and essay contest is going to start pretty soon. At our last meeting in Gustine, we did pick the theme. This year's theme is Healthy Eating Keeps the Heart Beating. We have some little catchy little thing every year because we go down into kindergarten, so it can't be too complicated. So that is the theme this year. And of course, we'll have essay contest and then the drawings for the calendars. Presentations for the schools will start September 9th in Newman, September 11th in Gustine, and presentation to the school board in Patterson will be September 16th. And I go before the school board and just ask for their buy-in to get that into the classrooms, which they always do, but I need to go there and actually ask for it each year. And I think it does a lot of good to the younger kids. It's going to teach them the importance of nutrition and exercise. So there's only positive things can come out of it. If you can learn that health and nutrition is important, in the first grade, maybe it's you'll carry that through your life, at least to some extent. So anyway, we've been busy. One of the things I'm really happy to tell you is that the West Side Healthcare Task Force third version of the service guide is out. In fact, it was just out this last week. This is what it looks like. This is the third run at it that we've had in the 11 years because it has to be updated. So on one side we have all the service providers, and then the map on the other side to show where these people are. And then in the back we have the task force members, which of course the City of Newman is one of them, and a little note from me on that. What's different about this one is we reformatted it and we have it listed city by city, but instead of in the past one where we listed the doctors' names, we did not do that this time, and instead we took the clinics and we talked to them all, and we listed the services that were provided rather than the doctors' names. So things like pediatric, chronic disease, primary care, gynecology, dental care, behavioral health, these are all codes in here. And when you see something like the Golden Valley Health Center or Livingston Health or whatever the clinic is, the codes will be in there, and then there's a key index. So if you're looking for a doctor in something particular specialty, you'll be able to find it right here and have their address and phone number and a map of where to go. So this is a free service, to the people of this area, paid for by the task force. It's been delivered to City Hall, so I know, and we also have a Spanish version too. So this replaces the old one, and I think it's really our best version yet because it's the most user-friendly. So we have to get a little better each year that we do this. So I looked at our first one. Okay, that was a good start. The second version, which we did, 4 or 5 years later, that was better. But I really think this is the best one we've done. Okay, and the West Side Walks that will conclude this week. That's the exercise program we have around the high school tracks in Patterson, Newman, and Gustine. 8-week program where you get some exercise walking around the school track. That will conclude this Thursday. Okay, and then our next, I haven't been here for a while, so that's why I have so much stuff. Our next project that the task force is doing is a senior health program. This is the flyer for it. I've given one to the newspaper and also to City Hall. And this is going to be health and nutrition for seniors. There's no cost for this to anybody who wants to go, and it will be on Monday, September 30th in Patterson at the Hammond Senior Center. So we will have some snacks there and some giveaway things and a cooking demonstration, and we will have people telling you what a healthy diet is as it's geared to the senior population. So I know because your diet and nutrition changes as you get older. I know that. And you don't. Well, I'll say I'm over 39. I only admit the 39, but your dietary requirements as you get older are a lot different than when you're 20. So we're going to go over that. It's a free program, and I think it's something that the task force has done. We're trying to include everybody on the west side into age groups where we do the art and essay contest for the kids. We do the West Side Walks for the adults. The Health Summit is geared to adults. And then we have senior program too. And we're working on a teen program too, but it's only in the beginning stages. So again, this is September 30th. It's from 1:30 to 3 o'clock in Patterson at the Hammond Senior Center, and it's a free event. Our next meeting of the task force will be here in Newman as we rotate these meetings each time. We just had a last one in Gustine. It's already set at your old city hall is what I call it there, your old meeting room. And that is August 29th, 6 o'clock. And the last thing I have here is tomorrow there is a scoping meeting in Patterson for the Del Puerto Healthcare District's environmental impact report. This is for the Del Puerto Canyon Reservoir project that's being proposed. It's will store about 85,000 acre-feet of water. And really the need for this is for, actually it's more than Del Puerto Irrigation District, it's also Patterson too. Is that they're buying water from the sewage treatment plants in Modesto and Turlock. And at the present time, they have no place to store this water, which is 365 days a year. So they have to put it in the aqueduct, send it down the San Luis Reservoir. Well, the water only flows one way, so the only way they can get their water back is to pump it out of the delta, and sometimes pumping is restricted at the delta. So they have their water in the reservoir in San Luis Dam, and sometimes they're not able to get all the water back. So with this project, they would be able to store their water and use it as they need it. And it would build up in the winter, and then they would use it in the summer. It's really a good program, and California has done just a terrible job into providing water projects. There hasn't been anything significant in the state in 30 years. And although this is not a big project, it's something that would be a great benefit to the West Side farmers. And be able to, they're using wastewater from the wastewater treatment plants for irrigation for agricultural crops. It's just really a good project there, and so they're having their scoping meeting tomorrow. It will be from 4 to 6 o'clock. It's sort of an open house format, and it will be at the Patterson Fire Station, number 2 at the Keystone Parkway. And if you have you want to get some information or have any comments, that would be the place to do it. And that's all I have this evening there. I know I had a little bit more than usual, but I haven't been here for a
Is that
while.
project kind of being fast-tracked?
Well, fast track in California is like a snail's pace, but I mean they're trying to get this thing through. So far there's no opposition to it, but it is California. There's a process involved, and it's a scoping meeting, really expensive environmental impact report, and the plumbing to it though actually won't be that bad. The biggest cost to the project is going to be having to relocate Del Puerto Canyon Road for about the first 5 miles because that's going to be flooded. But they're trying to move it along the best you can. It's don't look for this thing to be done anytime soon, but they got to get started. It's a good project, and it's hopefully there won't be any opposition to it. But if you really want to, for the public who really wants to know what this project is, tomorrow, scoping meeting, and they'll go over the environmental impact report. And you sort of come and go as you want. There'll be charts, and they'll be able there to answer the questions, and as we try and move forward with the water project.
I have a couple questions for you. Excuse me. Could you shed some light on the Crow's Landing project? Is litigation still going on with that? And the corridor, 99 and 5, is there any, moving on that particular?
I mean, the South County corridor?
Yes.
Okay, South County corridor, there is like zero going on over there. I asked about it last month in Stancog. All the money right now is going into the central corridor, which there's like millions. There's another 60 million they put into it in the grant. There's still the completion of the North County corridor yet to do before they even get to the South County corridor. The only thing they've done is narrowed down the route to 3 possible routes. 2 of them wind their way to Zacharias Road, Patterson. The third one, with the southern route, goes down Crow's Landing Road to Fink Road. So there's been only about $350,000 spent just on that part. Well, they had like 30 different choices, so they've narrowed it to 3. But I don't see anything else going on probably for a couple of years on that, just because of the other projects are so expensive. There will be, because those projects will eventually be finished, and then the South County corridor can start moving forward once they pick the route. As far as the Crow's Landing Air Base, I say everything just works at a snail's pace here, but we actually have the RFP has been completed, and we have 3 people that have applied for the engineering for the roads and the storm drain, which is a pretty good sized project. We haven't selected those yet, but it could be as early as next week because they're being evaluated now. The staff will make a recommendation, and then the board will pick one of those 2. Now, this is not for construction of the storm drain or roads, but just the engineering of it. And once that engineering is done, then it will be another request for proposal to actually start building something. And then we really expect that to happen next year sometime.
Right.
So the first projects are the building of Bell Road and Ike Crane Road and the storm drain, which is really kind of a big deal there because there's 80 feet of slope from one end to the other. I know it looks flat, but it's not. And then there's the creek running through it, Little Solano Creek, so that has to be dealt with. So the storm drain has to be put in, the well has to be put in, and with that, the well, we'll be hooking up the little town of Crow's Landing too, as their water quality is not what it should be, and their infrastructure is really old, and they don't have any money. So and they got the worst of everything there in their case. So the county is just going to hook them up to our system, and then we still have to work out a sewage treatment agreement with the city of Patterson. Our lawsuits with the city of Patterson are concluded. We never did go to court, and we've come to agreement in the terms of the wording of their project, and it's over. So we're working together now. We don't like to go to court with any of our cities, especially over something like that. So anyway, that's where we're at with the Crow's Landing Air Base. When we do select a contractor, I'll let you know who it is, and then next year maybe we can stick a shovel in the ground. I don't know. I like to get the project started before I go to the nursing home. So it's been. The project actually was given to Stanislaus County before I got on the board, and I've been here 15 years. And we haven't done, well, we've done stuff, but we haven't put that shovel in the ground yet in 15 years. But we're working in that direction. We think that, there's a good opportunity for jobs in this area too, since we have, as you know, a lot of people who commute to the Bay Area to work, and we'd like to keep them here so they don't have to go. So we'd like to have a good project. It's industrial only, and no residential, and no trains, and the footprint of the air base. It's everything Newman's always wanted. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jim?
Okay, thank you.
Jim, thank
Thank
you
you.
for enlightening us.
Yeah, well, it's when I miss a meeting and then you cancel one, the stuff piles up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. There's a lot
but
of-
be sure to pick up your
Yeah, that looks like a
healthcare
nice
directory.
pamphlet. Do you put those in the doctor's office at all, or do?
There are some that was taken by Golden Valley to put in their
Okay.
clinics. Livingston Health took some. I know you have some here at City Hall. We could even put
Just
some in the
great
library.
information, yeah.
If you want more of them, I'll bring them over to you. And there's a Spanish version too. But this is really nice, especially for the people that are just moved into town. I know a lot of times you get people in here come pay their water bill, if you had some on the counter. It's really just a nice little guide to let you know where services are.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on, item 12, items from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just a couple updates. Last week, we had a planning commission meeting. There's one application on there. It's for a use permit. It was to operate a cocktail lounge in the old model cleaner site, and that's at Merced Street and Main Street. We say cocktail lounge because that's what the code calls it. He called it more of a sports lounge. It'll be a sports lounge, and it'll have some couple cold meals. He's not going to have a full kitchen. He'll do some salads and some sandwiches. The owner is Daniel Gray. Most of you probably know him. He's a restaurateur here on the west side. He owns Mills and Shooters, and he owned a couple in Turlock, and he used to own the Grill. So he's a very experienced operator of these types of establishments. So that was approved by the Planning Commission 5-0, and that's moving forward. Architecture review will be looking at some of the exterior improvement that they're going to be proposing, and they'll be looking at that on Thursday. So all indications this is going to be moving forward. As you can see, they've already done some improvements. The property owner, Mr. Thakar Manish, and Mr. Gray have been working on that, and they've made a pretty substantial investment into that site. So, and then the police chief will be working with the operator, obviously, on some of those conditions of approval, when security is necessary, and some of those things. So you're seeing activity over there, and that's what you're seeing. Couple forthcoming meetings. Thursday of next week, that's August 1st, we are hosting a property owners meeting for property owners in the northwest Newman annexation area. So now that we've closed off that final piece, which is that property tax sharing agreement we have with the county, our application at LAFCO is now pulled off the shelf. They're dusting it off. We're going to update just a couple things. At this point, we're anticipating that our application will be at LAFCO for consideration in October of this year. So we thought it would be prudent to invite all the property owners in, talk about where we're at, give them the schedule of how we're moving forward with our project, talk to them a little bit about our water project that's out there. Some of them have already taken advantage of it, and they're going to be able to connect into our water lines for free, and get, tap into the new well. We're expecting that new well will probably be bid later on this year, with breaking ground probably in the spring of 20, and if I had to guess completion, I'd probably say fall of 21. Probably be completed around there. A lot of it will be dependent on the weather this winter. As you know, our clays have our soils have a ton of clay, so they can't really get in the field and do a lot if it rains a lot. So that meeting again, Thursday, August 1st, 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. And we mailed notices to all the property owners out there. So your next meeting is August 13th. And then I sent you all an email, and I got enough of a quorum that August 14th is a joint meeting between the city council and the school board. That meeting will be hosted by the school board at the McConnell Center. Again, Wednesday the 14th at 6 p.m. They will be providing food as part of that. So some of the discussion that are going to occur that night will be the pool. So I've been kind of talking a little bit offline with the superintendent. This will be your opportunity to talk to the board to see what their plans are, because they've had discussions about they're going out again to another general obligation bond, and so they're having discussions on whether or not that's going to include a pool at the high school site. So my general conversation with him was, if you're not doing a pool, I know our council still has a desire for our community to have a pool, and if they're not going to go after one, it was my thought that you would want to proceed forward with a measure in November 2020. If they weren't going to build a pool, you would like to build one. And so that meeting again, August 14th, the McConnell Center, 6 p.m. And as you can see, Chief Bowen's not here tonight. He's on vacation. He said you already approved his budget, so he didn't have to worry about showing up. So, just teasing.
Well, we'll throw him a curveball.
Yeah. So, with that, I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Sure.
Anyway, thank you, Michael, for all you do.
Thank you, Mayor.
And with that, Ally, you're going to be up first, and you're going to tell us all these neat things that are going to happen.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Okay, in front of you, you have a flyer for National Night Out. If you want to take a look at that, it is Tuesday, August 6th from 4:30 to 7:30 at night. We're going to block off some streets, Kern and Main, for the event. It will predominantly be in front of the police department, where we will have a memorial for Ronald Singh, a dedication for him. We will have police department and fire department vehicle displays, booths, as well as West Side Ambulance and Stanislaus Sheriff will also be participating in our event. With them, we'll have booths from Blue Line Wives, Cowboy Honor Ride, Rescue 74, Newman Canine, Newman Recreation, Cause for Paws, and just to make it more of a community vibe and feeling, so the community will come out, enjoy the night, get to know our local law enforcement, first responders, and also involve themselves with them, and them involve themselves with the community more. Be active, have games. We will have a basketball hoop out there to do somewhat of a 3v3 pickup basketball game with the community. It will be located closer to the police department, and the fire department will have a water brigade game out there for the community to also involve themselves. The recreation department will have free face painting. Along that, the city of Newman council members and the chamber will have, Newman Chamber will have free hot dogs to give out to the community. That night we will have a memorial, like I said, the dedication memorial for Ronald Singh in front of the department at 6:30 p.m. And that's when we would like everybody to be present and ready for that moment. I'd also like to thank Saputo for helping us fund and donate that memorial. Now, also in front of you, you have a Fall Harvest Market flyer. That is around the corner. So we have National Night Out on the 6th, and then we have the end closure for Fall Harvest Market on the 19th. Everybody who is interested in participating should turn in their applications by then. The Fall Harvest Market is a take on the Farmers Market, exactly the same thing, but this time we are adding craft vendors to our Farmers Market Fall Harvest Market. The reason being we want to cater to everybody and help support everybody and have the community come out and enjoy different types of activities, booths, vendors, things of that nature. The Fall Harvest Market will be September 20th and 27th, October 4th and 11th, so a whole month worth of Fall Harvest Market in preparation for our holiday festivities and all that going on. So those are the two on the community side. On the recreation side, we will have a movie night August 17th, and that's The Incredibles 2. Our last movie night was awesome. It was the DeLorean, and I explained that in our last meeting, but this next meeting will be a good one as well. The recreation department will be hosting and making the hot dogs that night, and we will have our slides and good movies out there. Now, another thing for recreation, we are around the corner from soccer season. This year we have a total of 488 soccer players registered to play. Coaches have been contacted. Kickoff for the soccer season starts September 7th at Barrington Park this year. And with that, any questions you may have?
That's a lot of soccer players.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of kiddos.
All from Newman?
We have a mix of Newman and Gustine. Predominantly from Newman, but a few from Gustine.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be there for you.
Thank you.
Can we eat some hot dogs once in a while?
Absolutely. If there's any left from the community. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Chief, anything tonight?
I'd just like to thank you guys for allowing us to introduce our new officers to you. It's a great honor to get two, and then hopefully we'll be doing the same thing again in September with two more, provided everything works out the way we anticipate. So we'll be able to bring two more officers to meet you in the community. And I'd like to take another minute to thank the DW61 Foundation for their generous donation to us. It's a great foundation with a great cause for a horrible reason that it started. But I'd like to thank them. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
No, you're just doing a fantastic job as far as recruiting. Just
Yes.
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
The quality of the officers is exceptional.
It's a difficult task nowadays, I can tell you.
We know that. We know that. And of course, that's why it's so great that you've been able to do that.
Thank you.
I want to piggyback on what Mayor said, because I'm so proud of you, man. You know, you're in my heart and my prayers all the time, but you're doing a fantastic job in terms of bringing people on that we feel comfortable with. And that just reflects of you as a leader. And we appreciate you, Chief.
I appreciate that.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank you, Chief.
And we're looking forward to National Night Out.
Yeah.
Bring your basketball shoes. I'm
Yep.
gonna play.
All right.
My first competition. All right.
Lou, give us the good news.
Just real brief, our fiscal year has ended back on June 30th, and we've started working with our auditors, providing them all information to review the year. We also got lucky. We had two more audits that popped up at the same time, so we're working on three right now. The other's with StanCog, reviewing our Measure L money, and the final one is with California State, reviewing our street money from SB1, our maintenance of effort. They're doing a fun audit for us, so we got lucky this year. Other than that, we'll have our reports starting I believe it's the first meeting in December, after all of the auditors are completed and then they finish their financial report. And other than that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are we solvent?
Yes.
You say that, what?
Well,
Of course we are.
Well, to give a quick example, when Catherine was talking about how in our water rates, it's important to have enough reserves available to be able to do emergencies that come up. Well, we had our well 6 this year that died out on us, so we had to spend $500,000, $600,000 to fix that up, and we wouldn't have been able to do that if we didn't have sufficient reserves to be able to attack that. And that's kind of our goals. We want to make sure we've got enough cushion lying around that if something happens, we can take care of it ourselves, not have to go into major debt, borrow money from a lot of other state or wherever else to do it. Be self-sufficient.
That's great. Thank you. Anyway, Catherine.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple updates. Well 6 has been put into the system, approved by the state. Our permit's been amended. So we are operational. The contractor's just finishing up a couple minor things, mostly site work. And then we will do a notice of completion on that project, and we feel better about the water capacity that we have now. Well 10 has been constructed. They drilled it, they videoed it, we swabbed it, got everything out of it, and pulled 2 bacteria tests, got negative results, and now we're welding the lid on it. And so now we're finalizing the design, and that will take us to going out to bid on the schedule that Michael mentioned earlier. So that project's moving forward. That will be a notice of completion to you as well in the next couple months. CMAC, we're working on a punch list. That was the striping and sidewalk project on Merced and Hills Ferry. The contractor's working on a punch list, but that one is pretty much wrapped up. There's a few little things they need to take care of. The pilot meter program that you approved is up and running. We read meters the first time. I think it took the operators about 5 minutes to read the 50 meters. So we're going to be taking a good look at that program as we move forward into the fiscal year. Cdbg, we have Klein Park and Q Street. They're going to start construction the beginning of September. That's with their schedule. So we'll get new playground equipment in there, some ADA access, and new sidewalks and trees over on the last block of Q Street. We do have other projects coming up, and I'll update you as those become available. That's all I got. I'll answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank you for all the bicycle lanes. I think that's marvelous, and I think you see them around town, and I'm always looking to see if we're going to add to, because I know that there's a lot of people that ride bikes, and it's really important that they, when they can, they're in the lane. I know you come to an area where, you know, it moves out to the regular traffic. I tell people, but
Takes a little getting used to, but thank you.
Anyway, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It looks good. Are we working with the school district on educating the kids about the use of bike lanes and that kind of thing? That's probably something we ought to at least mention to the school board or school district.
Yeah, I'll talk to the superintendent about it, or maybe Joanne, and see if we can have a little training or something, or give them some information about what the bike lanes mean so they understand, and they can take it home to their parents so they understand, the drivers.
Good.
Welcome they're gone now, but welcome the 2 new officers, Officer Gomez and Officer Miller. Glad they're with our community, and thank them for their service to our country and to us. That's all I have. Stay cool. I saw the newspaper put out a couple cooling places. Do we have any in town? Does anybody know?
The library and...
The library. I saw them. I can't remember, but...
Oh, the Family Resource Center.
Family Resource Center and the library.
I just go to Knob Hill, freezer area.
Council chambers.
I just... It's going. It's hot, and it's going to get hotter.
Right.
Yeah. So, stay cool. Hydrate. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
Nick?
Just welcome the 2 new officers, and I'm looking forward to the next couple that are coming on soon. Great news.
We're getting up to speed with our PD, and that's fantastic. And I'll reiterate what Councilmember McDonald said. It's has a lot to do with you, Chief Richardson, and the way you run your department, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah. It's always, when we get great officers, I mean, I feel that we're fortunate, because I know that there's a challenge out there to get officers today and to retain them. But anyway, thank you so much. I have nothing else tonight, so I'll ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.